Chosen one, I'm closing doors to protect you. There is something happening in your life that you have misunderstood for far too long. What you called rejection was not abandonment. What you called delay was not punishment. What you believed was a closed opportunity was, in reality, my hand standing between you and a future that would have broken your heart. Listen carefully. Do not skip this message, because what I am about to reveal now can change everything you think of. If you leave now, you may miss the answer you have been praying for. You have been asking me, why did that relationship end? Why did that opportunity disappear? Why did everything seem to fall apart just when I thought it was finally coming together? You cried in secret. You questioned your worth. You wondered if I had forgotten you. But I have not forgotten you. I was protecting you from what your eyes could not see. Just because a door looked beautiful does not mean it led to peace. Just because an opportunity looked perfect does not mean it carried my blessing. The enemy often decorates traps to look like answered prayers. I see what is waiting behind every door long before you ever reach it. Have you noticed how some things kept slipping away no matter how hard you try to hold on? Have you wondered why your plans suddenly changed without warning? You thought everything was working against you, but I was working for you. My child, I do not remove something valuable without preparing something greater. Sometimes my greatest act of love is not opening another door immediately. Sometimes my love is found in the doors I refuse to let you walk through. Remember what my word says in Proverbs 3 verses 5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. You have been leaning on what made sense to you, but I am inviting you to trust what only I can see. Think about a loving father who sees danger ahead while his child sees only excitement. The child may cry because he is stopped, but years later he understands that being stopped was an act of love. That is what I am doing for you right now. You may feel disappointed today, but one day you will thank me for every closed door that kept you from unnecessary pain. I do not waste your tears. I do not ignore your prayers. Even in silence, I am arranging what you cannot yet imagine. There are blessings that require protection before they require promotion. There are seasons where I close every distraction so you can finally hear my voice above all the noise. So I ask you this, are you willing to trust me even when my answer is no? Can you believe that my wisdom reaches far beyond your understanding? Can you surrender the future you plan so I can give you the future I have prepared? The answer to those questions will shape not only where you go next, but who you become. Today, I want to show you why some of the greatest blessings I have ever given my children first arrive disguised as painful endings. Many of my children spend years asking me to open doors while resisting the lessons I am teaching behind the closed ones. You have been praying, Lord, make a way, but I have been whispering, first, let me shape your heart. Do not mistake preparation for delay. Gold does not complain while it is being refined. A tree does not argue because its roots are growing before its branches can be seen. In the same way, I am strengthening parts of you that no one else can see, because where I am taking you, your character will matter more than your talent. Remember Joseph. His dreams came from me, but before the palace came the pit. Before the crown came the prison. If I had given him the throne too early, he would not have had the wisdom to carry its weight. Every closed door was preparing him for the one no man could shut. Genesis 37-41. What if the door you are begging me to reopen would have stolen your peace? What if the people you desperately wanted to keep in your life would have slowly pulled you away from my purpose? What if the opportunity you cried over would have cost you your integrity? You only see today. I see 10 years from now. I know every conversation you have not heard, every motive that has been hidden from you, every danger that has not yet appeared. I know the hearts of people before they speak. I know the paths before your feet touch them. That is why you must not interpret my protection as my absence. When I say no, it is not because I delight in your disappointment. It is because I delight in your future. My child, there are prayers you will never know I answered because my answer was the disaster that never happened. There were moments when I redirected your steps by allowing plans to fail. There were nights when I removed people from your life because they could not go where I was leading you. You called it loss. I called it rescue. Isaiah 55 verses 8-9 reminds you, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. My wisdom reaches beyond what your eyes can measure." Stop measuring my faithfulness by how many doors are open. Measure my faithfulness by how many times I have carried you through what should have destroyed you. Look back for a moment. Have I not sustained you through seasons you thought would break you forever? Have I not placed unexpected strength in your heart when you had none left? Have I not provided for you in ways you never imagined? Then why do you fear that I will fail you now? I have never abandoned my own. The closed door in front of you is not the end of your story. It is a turning point. It is an invitation to walk by faith instead of by sight. 2 Coríntios 5:7. Do not chase what I have closed. Do not spend your strength trying to force open what my hand has shut. If you have to compromise your peace, your obedience, or your relationship with me to enter a door, then it is not the door I prepared for you. Wait on me. There is a door that no amount of human power can close once I open it. And when that moment comes, you will understand why I asked you to be patient. You will see that every tear, every unanswered question, and every painful goodbye was leading you to something far greater than you could have imagined. Do not grow weary while you wait. The world tells you that if something does not happen quickly, it is no longer worth believing for. But my kingdom does not operate by the clock of human impatience. I move with perfect timing. I am never late and I am never rushed. There are seeds beneath the ground that appear lifeless for a season. To those who do not understand, it looks as though nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, roots are spreading, strength is forming, and life is preparing to break through. That is what I am doing in you. You have been looking for visible progress while I have been building invisible strength. Can you see now why I have been quiet? Silence does not mean I have stopped working. It means I am accomplishing something so deep that words alone could never explain it. Remember Elijah. He expected me to appear in the wind, the earthquake, and the fire. Yet I spoke in a gentle whisper. 1 Kings 19 verses 11 to 13. Many times, you have searched for dramatic signs while my voice has been gently leading your heart in the quiet moments. Pay attention to the peace I place within you. When I remove your peace about a decision, do not ignore it. When I keep warning your spirit, do not silence it. When I tell you to wait, do not let impatience become your guide. Some of you have been standing at doors that I closed months ago. You keep knocking because you believe persistence will change my mind. But I am calling you to release what I have already removed. Why are you holding on to what I have asked you to surrender? Why are you mourning a chapter that I have already finished writing? My child, every season has a purpose. There are seasons for planting. There are seasons for waiting. There are seasons for harvesting. If you try to harvest before the fruit is ready, you will only damage what I intended to bless. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 declares, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. Trust the season I have placed you in. I know the loneliness you have carried. I know the questions you have never spoken aloud. I know the nights when you smiled before others but wept when no one could see. I was there. I counted every tear. Not one cry escaped my attention." Psalm 56 verse 8 reminds you that I keep record of your tears. They are precious to me. Your pain has never been invisible in my sight. Do not believe the lie that your waiting has been wasted. Every prayer has been heard. Every act of obedience has been seen. Every sacrifice made for my name has been remembered. Soon you will begin to recognize that the very doors you once begged me to open would have kept you from the life I designed for you. And when that realization comes, your heart will no longer ask, "Why did you close that door?" Instead, with gratitude and deeper faith, you will whisper, "Thank you, Lord, for loving me enough to protect me from what I could not see." There is one more truth I need you to understand. Not every closed door is about removing something from your life. Sometimes I close a door because I am trying to bring you closer to me. When everything around you is working, it is easy to depend on your own strength. But when the doors begin to close, when the plans fall apart, and when the answers do not come as quickly as you expected, your heart begins to seek me in a way it never did before. I am not trying to make you weaker. I am teaching you where true strength is found. Paul learned this when he pleaded with me to remove the thorn from his life. Instead of taking it away, I answered him with these words, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Coríntios 12:9. My child, you have asked me to remove every hardship, But some hardships are the very place where you will discover my faithfulness. Do not despise the valley. Many of the deepest encounters my children have ever had with me did not happen on the mountaintop. They happened in the wilderness. It was in the wilderness that Moses learned to trust my voice. It was in the wilderness that I provided bread from heaven for Israel. It was in the wilderness that even my son was tested before beginning his public ministry. Exodus 16, Matthew 4 verses 1 to 11. So if you find yourself in a place that feels empty, do not assume I have left you. The wilderness is not proof of my absence. It is often the classroom where I prepare my chosen ones for their calling. Ask yourself this: had you been asking me to change your circumstances while refusing to let me change your heart? Had you been praying for open doors while ignoring the lessons I am teaching behind the closed ones? Have you been chasing comfort more than my presence? These are not questions to condemn you. They are invitations to draw nearer to me. James 4 verse 8 says, "Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Take one step toward me, and you will find that I have been waiting for you all along." Lay down your fear. Lay down your need to control every outcome. Lay down the burden of trying to understand everything before you obey. Faith is not seeing the entire road before you take the first step. Faith is trusting the one who has already walked the road ahead of you. There will come a day when you look back over this season, and what once felt like heartbreak will become a testimony. You will see how I protected your mind, your purpose, your family, your calling, and even your future generations by refusing to let certain doors remain open. On that day, you will not remember the closed door with bitterness. You will remember it with gratitude, because you will finally understand that my no was never meant to destroy your hope. It was meant to preserve the destiny I prepared for you before the foundation of the world. Ephesians 1 verse 4. Now I want you to guard your heart against one of the greatest traps of the enemy. The enemy wants you to believe that because a door closed, your purpose has ended. That is a lie. Your purpose has never depended on one opportunity, one person, one season, or one place. Your purpose depends on me. If I called you, I will sustain you. If I planted the promise in your heart, I will also provide what is necessary to fulfill it. Did I not say in Philippians 1 verse 6 that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion? I do not abandon what I begin. My child, stop calling yourself forgotten. Stop calling yourself overlooked. Stop saying, maybe I missed my chance. The plans I have for you cannot be stolen by another person. No one can take what I have appointed for you. What belongs to you through my will arrive in my time. There are people who spend their lives comparing their journey with someone else's. They see another person's success and wonder why their own path seems slower. But tell me, does the sunrise compete with the sunset? Does the river envy the mountain? Did I not create each one with a different purpose and a different season? Then why do you measure your life by someone else's story? I never asked you to imitate their journey. I asked you to follow me. Peter once looked at another disciple and asked what would happen to him. My answer was simple. What is that to you? You follow me. John 21 verse 22. Those words are for you today. Do not become distracted by what I am doing in someone else's life. Keep your eyes on me. Every moment you spend comparing yourself is a moment you are not appreciating the work I am doing within you. My child, I know you have grown tired. There were mornings when you woke up carrying a heaviness that words could not describe. There were evenings when you questioned whether your prayers were reaching heaven. There were moments when you smiled for everyone around you while silently wondering if anyone truly understood your pain. I understood. I was with you in every silent tear. I was beside you when you thought you were standing alone. I heard the prayers you could not even put into words. Romans 8 verse 26 tells you that my spirit intercedes for you with groanings too deep for words. Even when your voice trembled, even when your faith felt small, even when all you could whisper was, "Help me," I heard you. Never confuse my silence with my absence. There are times when I am working so powerfully behind the scenes that if I revealed everything at once, you would not be able to carry the weight of what I am preparing. Trust me in the hidden places. Trust me in the waiting. Trust me when you cannot trace my hand. Because even then, my heart is completely set on your good. Remember what I promised in Jeremiah 29 verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Those words have not expired. They are still true. They are still your promise. And they are still unfolding, one step at a time, according to my perfect wisdom. Do not allow disappointment to harden your heart. A wounded heart begins to build walls where I am trying to build trust. I know there were moments when you prayed with complete confidence, believing that everything would turn out the way you expected. When it did not, part of you wondered if I had stopped listening. But my child, I hear every prayer before it leaves your lips. Psalm 139 reminds you that I know your thoughts from afar and understand every word before you speak it. Nothing about you is hidden from me. So why did I not answer in the way you expected? Because I love you too much to give you everything you ask for. A wise parent does not hand a child everything the child desires. Love sometimes says, "Not yet." Love sometimes says, "No." Love sometimes says, "There is something better waiting." That is how I love you. You see the moment. I see the lifetime. You see the request. I see the consequence. You see the door. I see what is standing behind it. Would you rather have what is temporary, or would you rather receive what is eternal? Would you rather celebrate for a moment and grieve for years, or wait a little longer and walk in the peace that comes from my will? Many of my children ask me to remove every difficulty, yet they also ask me to make them stronger. Strength is not created in comfort. Faith is not formed when everything is easy. Patience does not grow when there is nothing to wait for. James 1 verses 2-4 teaches that the testing of your faith produces perseverance, and perseverance matures you. Do not despise the process that is producing the person I have called you to become. There are blessings I cannot place into hands that refuse to trust me. There are responsibilities I cannot entrust to hearts that still depend more on fear than on faith. So while you are asking me to change your surroundings, I am changing you. I am teaching you to forgive when holding a grudge feels easier. I am teaching you to remain humble when pride whispers your name. I am teaching you to love when your heart has been wounded. I am teaching you to remain faithful even when no one notices your obedience. These lessons may not be celebrated by the world, but they are treasured in my kingdom. Remember David. Before he wore the crown, he spent long seasons watching sheep where no one applauded him. Those quiet fields were not wasted years. They were the place where courage, worship, and dependence on me were formed. When Goliath appeared, David was ready because I had prepared him in the hidden places. 1 Samuel 16-17. In the same way, do not despise your hidden season. The world celebrates what is visible. I value what is faithful. The prayers you pray in secret, the kindness you show when no one thanks you, the obedience you choose when it costs you something. I see it all, and I will never allow a single act of faithfulness to be forgotten. Your story is not being delayed. It is being written by my hands. Every page has purpose. Every chapter has meaning. Even this one. Do not rush to the next chapter before you have learned what this one is teaching you. Many people want the testimony, but they resist the test. They want the victory, but they avoid the battle. They want the harvest, but they do not want to remain faithful during the season of planting. My child, the lessons you learn in private will sustain you in public. If you cannot trust me when no one is watching, how will you stand when everyone is watching? I am not preparing you merely to receive blessings. I am preparing you to carry them without losing your soul. For what does it profit a person to gain the whole world and yet lose their soul? Mark 8 verse 36. Never measure my favor by possessions alone. My greatest blessings are not always things you can hold in your hands. Peace is a blessing. Wisdom is a blessing. A heart that forgives is a blessing. The ability to sleep at night without fear is a blessing. The courage to keep believing after disappointment is a blessing. The strength to love after being hurt is a blessing. These are treasures that cannot be purchased, yet they are more valuable than anything this world can offer. Have you noticed how some people seem to have everything, yet their hearts remain empty? And have you noticed how others possess very little, yet their hearts overflow with joy? The difference is not found in what they own. The difference is found in whom they trust. I want to become your greatest treasure. Not because I want to take joy away from you, but because everything else in this life can change. Money can disappear. Success can fade. People can leave. Health can be tested. But I remain the same yesterday, today, and forever. Hebrews 13 verse 8. Anchor your heart in me, and when the storms come, you will not be carried away. Remember the words of my son in Matthew 7 verses 24 to 25. The wise man built his house upon the rock. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because its foundation was secure. Be that wise builder. Build your life upon my truth rather than your emotions. Feelings change. Opinions change. Circumstances change. But my word stands forever. There will be days when you feel strong. There will also be days when you feel weak. On both kinds of days, come to me. Do not wait until your faith is perfect before seeking my presence. Come when you are joyful. Come when you are broken. Come when your prayers are full of confidence. Come when all you have are tears. I am not waiting for a perfect version of you. I am calling the real you to walk with me. Cast your burdens upon me, for I care for you. 1 Peter 5 verse 7. You were never created to carry every burden alone. Lay your fears before me. Lay your regrets before me. Lay your unanswered questions before me. I can carry what has been crushing your heart. And as you place those burdens into my hands, you will begin to discover a peace that does not depend on circumstances, a peace that guards your heart and your mind. Philippians 4 verse 7. That peace is one of the greatest gifts I long to give my chosen ones. Do not be afraid of the future. Fear has a way of convincing you that tomorrow is already defeated before it even arrives. But I do not live within the limits of time as you do. I am already present in the tomorrow that worries you. Before you wake up to face the next day, I'm already there. Before the question reaches your mind, I already know the answer. Before the challenge appears, I have already prepared the strength you will need. This is why I tell you, do not be anxious about tomorrow. Matthew 6 verse 34. Anxiety keeps pulling your heart into battles that have not even happened. Faith brings your heart back into my presence, where my peace is waiting for you. My child, think about how often I have carried you through impossible situations. There were bills you did not know how you would pay. There were decisions that kept you awake at night. There were moments when your heart was so heavy that you wondered how you would take another step. Yet here you are, not because you were strong enough, but because my hand never let go of yours. When you thought you were holding on to me by the last thread of your strength, it was actually my strength holding you. Isaiah 41 verse 10 is still my promise to you. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Hold on to those words. Read them again when fear visits your mind. Speak them when doubt whispers that you will not make it. Stand upon them when the enemy tries to convince you that you have been abandoned. Because my promises are not empty words. They are life. They are truth. They are the foundation beneath your feet. The enemy wants you to focus on everything you have lost. I want you to remember everything that still remains. You still have my presence. You still have my promises. You still have the breath I placed within you. You still have a purpose that has not been canceled. You still have hope, even if it feels as small as a mustard seed. And remember what I taught you about that tiny seed. Faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains. Matthew 17 verse 20. Do not underestimate what I can do through a heart that simply refuses to stop trusting me. Some mountains will not move because you are powerful. They will move because I am. Some doors will not open because you found the perfect strategy. They will open because my appointed time has arrived. And when I open them, no force on earth can shut them. When I speak, no voice of fear can silence my word. When I bless, no curse can overturn my purpose. When I lead, no darkness can prevent my light from reaching you. So lift up your eyes. Do not keep staring at the closed doors behind you. Look ahead. I am already preparing the path before you. I am already arranging divine appointments you know nothing about. I am already working in hearts you have never met. I am already making a way where your natural eyes see none. Walk forward in faith, not because you understand every step, but because you know the one who is leading you. For I have never failed my children. and I will not begin with you. My beloved child, there is something I want you to remember every single day. Do not allow your identity to be shaped by what happened to you. Let it be shaped by who I say you are. The world may call you rejected. I call you chosen. The world may call you weak. I call you strengthened by my Spirit. The world may remind you of your failures. I remind you of my mercy. The world may judge you by your past. I see the future I created for you before you were formed in your mother's womb. Jeremiah 1 verse 5. Never forget this. You are not defined by the door that closed. You are defined by the God who walks beside you after it closes. Many people have allowed one disappointment to become the name they carry for the rest of their lives. I am the one who failed. I am the one who was betrayed. I am the one who lost everything. No, my child. Those are events. They are not your identity. Your identity is found in me. You are my workmanship, created for good works that I prepared in advance for you. Ephesians 2 verse 10. When you begin to see yourself the way I see you, fear begins to lose its voice. Shame begins to lose its power. The chains of yesterday begin to fall away. Do you know why the enemy fights so hard to fill your mind with lies? Because he knows that if he can convince you that you are defeated, you will stop walking toward the purpose I have prepared for you. That is why I tell you to guard your heart and your mind. Not every thought that enters your mind comes from me. When you hear, you will never recover, test that thought against my word. When I say that to my beloved child, when you hear, there is no hope left, remember that I am the God of hope. Romans 15 verse 13. When you hear, you have gone too far, remember the cross. The cross is the greatest proof that my mercy is greater than your mistakes. My grace has never been too small for your deepest wound. My forgiveness has never been too weak for your greatest failure. If you come to me with a humble heart, I will not turn you away. Did I not say, whoever comes to me, I will never cast out? John 6 verse 37. So stop carrying guilt that I have already forgiven. Stop reopening wounds that I have already begun to heal. Stop allowing yesterday to steal the joy I have placed before you today. Forgive yourself because I have forgiven you. Release what is behind you and reach forward to what lies ahead, just as Paul pressed on toward the goal of the upward call of God. Philippians 3 verses 13 to 14. There is still purpose in your life. There is still work for you to do. There are still people who will encounter my love because you chose to remain faithful. Your story is not ending in sorrow. It is becoming a testimony of my faithfulness. One day, someone who is standing where you once stood will hear your story and find the courage to trust me again. What the enemy intended to use to silence you, I will use to give hope to countless others. That is the kind of God I am. I redeem. I restore. I heal. I strengthen. And I never waste the life of a heart that is fully surrendered to me. So, my child, stop asking whether I am still with you. Ask yourself instead, how many times has he already carried me when I thought I could not go on? You will remember the answers. You will remember the mornings when you woke up with unexpected peace after nights of endless tears. You will remember the strength that came when your own strength had completely failed. You will remember the doors I quietly opened after others had closed. You will remember the people I placed in your path at exactly the right moment. None of those moments were accidents. They were reminders that I have always been writing your story with loving hands. Do not allow temporary pain to make permanent conclusions. Just because this season is difficult does not mean your future will be. Winter is not forever. Night does not last forever. The storm eventually passes. And when the morning comes, you will discover that I was watching over you through every dark hour. Did I not promise in Psalm 30 verse 5 that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning? Hold tightly to that promise. Some of you have cried so much that you wonder if joy will ever find its way back into your heart. I tell you today that it will. Not because life will suddenly become perfect, but because my presence will become more real to you than your pain. There is a peace that the world cannot explain. There is a joy that circumstances cannot steal. There is a hope that refuses to die because it is rooted in me. I desire for you to live in that place. Do not keep revisiting the graves of the things I have already buried. Do not keep mourning dreams that I have lovingly replaced with something greater. Trust me enough to release what is gone. You cannot receive with open hands if your hands are still tightly holding what I asked you to let go. Sometimes the greatest act of faith is not taking another step. Sometimes it is simply letting go. Let go of the bitterness. Let go of the offense. Let go of the regret. Let go of the fear that keeps whispering, "What if it happens again?" That promise still stands today. It has never changed. It never will. So lift your head, my chosen one. The door behind you is closed. Do not stand there knocking. Turn around. Take my hand. Walk with me. Ahead of you is a path filled with my wisdom, my timing, and my purpose. And when you finally arrive at the place I have prepared for you, you will not say, "I was lucky." You will bow your heart in gratitude and say, "Lord, every closed door was another reminder that you love me enough to protect me, guide me, and lead me into your perfect will." My child, before you take another step, I want you to examine your heart. What have you been carrying that I never asked you to carry? Have you been carrying the weight of everyone's expectations? Have you been carrying guilt over mistakes that I have already forgiven? Have you been carrying fear about a future that is safely held in my hands? Why do you continue to carry burdens that I've already invited you to place before me? I did not create you to live exhausted by worry. I created you to walk in fellowship with me. When you insist on carrying every burden alone, your soul grows weary. But when you trust me with what you cannot control, your heart begins to find rest. Did I not say in Matthew 11 verses 28 to 30, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest"? Notice that I did not promise the absence of responsibility. I promised my presence in the middle of it. There is a difference between responsibility and worry. Responsibility obeys. Worry imagines endless disasters. Responsibility does what it can. Worry keeps replaying what it cannot change. Responsibility trusts me with the outcome. Worry tries to become its own God. My child, I never asked you to predict tomorrow. I asked you to trust me today. Every morning I give you enough grace for that day. Do not spend today's strength fighting tomorrow's battles. When tomorrow comes, my grace will already be there waiting for you. Just as manna fell one day at a time for my people in the wilderness, so my grace comes according to the need of each day. Exodus 16. If I gave them bread for one day, would I not also give you the strength you need for one day? Look at the birds of the air. They do not spend their lives worrying about the next season. Yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not far more valuable than they are? Matthew 6 verse 26. You have forgotten how precious you are to me. You keep measuring your worth by your achievements. I measure your worth by my love. You measure your value by how many people applaud you. I valued you enough to send my Son to redeem you. The cross was not a bargain. It was the greatest declaration of love the world has ever known. Never doubt your value again. When the enemy whispers that you are forgotten, remember the empty tomb. When he tells you that you are beyond hope, remember the resurrection. The same power that raised Christ from the dead is still at work in those who believe. Romans 8 verse 11. That means your story is never defined by what seems dead. I specialize in bringing life where others see only endings. I still restore broken hearts. I still renew weary minds. I still open paths through impossible places. I still turn mourning into joy. I still make beauty from ashes. Isaiah 61 verse 3. So do not lose heart. Even if you cannot see what I am doing today, continue walking in obedience. Every faithful step matters. Every prayer offered in faith matters. Every quiet act of obedience matters. Heaven sees what the world overlooks. And in my perfect time, you will discover that nothing you entrusted to me was ever wasted. This devotional teaches that when God closes doors, it is not because he has rejected or forgotten his chosen ones. Instead, every closed door is an act of divine protection, love, and wisdom. What may appear to be rejection, delay, disappointment, or failure is often God's way of preventing his children from walking into situations that would bring pain, distraction, or spiritual harm. God sees what his children cannot see, and his plans always reach far beyond human understanding. The message encourages believers to trust God's timing instead of relying on their own understanding. It explains that many prayers are answered not by receiving everything requested, but by God lovingly saying no or not yet. Just as a loving father protects his child from unseen danger, God closes certain opportunities because he knows the future and desires to preserve his children's peace, purpose, and destiny. Throughout the teaching, several biblical examples demonstrate this truth. Joseph's journey from the pit to the prison before reaching the palace shows that God often prepares his people through painful seasons before fulfilling his promises. David's years as a shepherd reveal that faithfulness in hidden places prepares believers for greater responsibilities. Moses, Elijah, Paul, and the Israelites each illustrate that wilderness seasons, silence, weakness, and waiting are not signs of God's absence but opportunities for spiritual growth and deeper dependence on him. The devotional emphasizes that waiting is never wasted. During seasons when nothing seems to be happening, God is strengthening character, developing patience, increasing faith, and preparing his children for blessings they are not yet ready to carry. Just as roots grow beneath the ground before a tree becomes visible, God often performs his greatest work where human eyes cannot see. Another major lesson is that believers should never define themselves by rejection, failure, betrayal, or disappointment. Their identity is found in God alone. They are chosen, loved, forgiven, and created with purpose. The enemy attempts to fill their minds with fear, comparison, guilt, and hopelessness, but God's word reminds them that they belong to him and that his grace is greater than every mistake. The message also warns against comparing one person's journey with another. God has designed a unique path and perfect timing for each individual. Success, blessings, and purpose are not determined by how quickly things happen, but by faithful obedience to God's leading. The devotional calls believers to surrender worry, fear, bitterness, regret, and the need to control every outcome. Instead of carrying burdens they were never meant to bear, they are encouraged to cast every care upon the Lord, trusting his promises and resting in his peace. God's presence, not the absence of difficulties, is the greatest source of strength. It further teaches that true blessings are not limited to wealth, success, or recognition. Peace, wisdom, forgiveness, humility, joy, endurance, and a close relationship with God are treasures that far exceed material possessions. A life built on God's word remains secure even when storms come, because its foundation cannot be shaken. The devotional reassures believers that every tear is seen by God, every prayer is heard, every act of obedience is remembered, and every painful season has eternal purpose. God never wastes suffering. He transforms brokenness into testimony, ashes into beauty, weakness into strength, and painful endings into new beginnings. His silence never means abandonment, and his delays never mean denial. The central message is that God's chosen ones can trust him completely. Every closed door, every unanswered prayer, every season of waiting, and every unexpected change is working together according to his perfect will. One day they will look back with gratitude and realize that what once felt like rejection was actually divine protection. They will understand that God was leading them away from harm and toward a future filled with hope, purpose, peace, and his perfect plan. In the end, they will see that God's love was present in every closed door, every delay, and every step of their journey.